How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG. Ended up being down just over 4.5% on the Friday, but we know there is a gap that needs to be filled to the downside. But it has been consolidating above this gap. So many are asking, what do you see the stock doing for the coming weeks? So we'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $2.95, being down 4.53%. On the low, it tested $2.88, and then on the high, testing $3.09. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 19.155 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 32.241 million shares. So you could see we had below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we see a bit of weakness in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 56.06. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day. We're also below the 100-day. We're also below the 50-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA. And what we've been seeing from BBIG for the past 5 trading days, it has been consolidating above this gap that we have to the downside. We talked about this in previous videos, and it's right around $2.58. So I don't want to see if BBIG could fill in this gap for the coming week. If it is able to do this and we have buyers that are stepping in, then I'm going to be looking forward to seeing the bounce going back to $3. Unless we fill in this gap and we continue to have some selling pressure, that's where BBIG can get down to around this 212 area. So something that you want to pay attention to. And another point that I mentioned as well, we could have a pullback to the 21-day EMA, which is around 269 if we decide not to fill in the gap. And if we have buyers stepping in, it can push the price back up. So that's why I'm saying BBIG is a very interesting play, but I would not want to be getting into this stock unless it's able to fill in the gap first. And as far as for reversal to the upside, you want to see some price action with BBIG coming back above $3.24. Since we did close below $3, I'll be looking for us to have some price action above 3 so we can get to this level and see how we do from there. So this is going to be a play you want to keep a very close eye on. So let's go on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for BBIG. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions and red rows indicate closed positions. So as far as recent filing, we have here for the 25th, we have Flex Shares Morningstar US that purchased 7,106 shares. And then for the following, we've already covered in previous videos where we saw Fidelity that went in with just over 22,000 shares and Nationwide Mutual Funds that went in with just over 1,300 shares. And then when we take a look now at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 51.87%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.76 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 20 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 38.88%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 24th, it was at 57.45, and then for the close of the 25th being at 51.87. So one thing that's clear, BBIG does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see on the inflow, it is at 9.46. On the outflow, it is at 11.67. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 6.20. And then on the small, it was 3.26. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 7.5. 3.94, and then on the small it was 3.73. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for March the 25th, which was the Friday that just passed, we had zero, but we had a big inflow on the 24th of 0.56 million, and on the 23rd of being 0.21 million, and then we also saw on the 21st being at 1.15 million. So for the past 5 trading days, we've had inflows beating out outflows. And then when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had zero on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 10.24%. So this is up there for a stock like BBIG. But keep in mind, we've seen it much higher than this in the past. So that's why you can't really complain too much, especially since it is trading at penny stock prices. So let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, when it comes to the price action, I must say I'm very impressed. For the past 5 trading days, it did not fill in the gap to the downside whatsoever. It held up and it closed Friday at $2.95. So if we have some weakness inside of the stock, I'd be very curious if it pulls back to $2.70. Will it fill the gap at around $2.58? This could be a possibility, but if it pulls back to $2.70 and it can hold, then the stock could still make that move going to $3. So I would continue to keep an eye on it and know those levels. Again, the fill in that gap is at $2.58. If it does pull back and it holds $2.70, it could make a move back up. So again, be cognizant of this. As far as for the breakout level or a strong move to the upside, you want to see some price action above $3.25. It ended up seeing a high of $3.09 on the Friday, so we could have some price action above $3.10 and buyers start stepping in. You want to see it close above $3.25. This is very crucial. If we end up getting that, then we go into the next trading day and there's even some more buying that is happening. That's where BBIG can get to around $3.60, and upon that breakout, that's where you can see it going to $4. Can this happen for the coming week? Personally, I'm not seeing it. I'm actually looking for it to fill in that gap, because what I want to see for April is strength. I want to see the stock starting to move back up. So filling in that gap as soon as possible, I think will give more traders confidence to go in with a position and play the stock to the long side. Also, when we went on Fintel, one thing that was very clear, institutions have been loading up on shares. Plus, on top of that, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. But this only becomes a big factor unless we have more buying pressure coming into the stock. And we've been seeing, even though it has been consolidating, we just don't have the buying that we need. So that is why if we have some selling pressure, if we have a major pullback in the market, BBIG is more likely to take that trip to the downside to fill in that gap. So in other words, you just want to make sure you have a game plan before you push that buy button. So let's see how BBIG performs for this coming week. I'll continue to keep you guys updated and we'll be talking real soon.